Never fear of doing anything wrong, because everything can be fixed. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to be looking at glue again. But what I'm going to be talking about is not how you use glue to bond things together, which is what I've already done with this one. I'm going to show you how to unbond things, because occasionally you might do stuff like this. Now I've selected just a spare front fuselage for a 32nd scale Lancaster here. Now I've glued it together with some liquid adhesive, and it is pretty firm now. Okay, so just pulling on this, it's pretty firm. But occasionally you may glue together an item and you think, oh no, I actually didn't mean to put it there, or it's not ready to go together yet. So for instance, scenario wise, you might have glued this together, but there's a few items that you forgot to put inside the cockpit. So it's probably going to be easier to take it apart. Now with glue, so this is the liquid cement that I've used. So if we look at the overhead camera, so liquid cement, so this is what they call the extra thin type. So if you can see that, it's actually like water. Okay, this is a great glue to use, particularly on large areas like this. And I do use this on smaller areas as well. This is my go-to. Great thing is it flows into all the joints and it gives a really good bond. And best bonds are achieved with surface area. So if you can get the glue to go absolutely everywhere, then it's going to give you a really strong connection. But as you can see, this connection is really good, but we want to break it open. Okay, so what are the natural choices? So you can either try breaking it apart with shear force, which can be quite messy. You could try cutting it open with a knife, which could be quite messy as well. But I'm going to show you a method which works fairly well in most cases. And all it is applying glue in exactly the same way. Okay, so you're going to be applying a little bit more glue so it can penetrate, soften, and then you'll be able to pull it apart. Now you're probably thinking, oh well, that's just going to damage it apart because the glue welds together. What you probably don't realize is it's a very strong solvent. It does dry very quickly, so when you apply it onto the surface, depending on how much you've added, of course, it simply bonds the edges. It doesn't actually melt into the whole lot, it's just a very edge. Okay, so if we tore this apart, it'll be a very jagged edge. But what we're going to try to do is we'll apply glue again at one point at a time, and as it softens that joint, we'll peel it, and what you'll be left with will be a reasonably clean break. It won't be totally clean because the solvent has attacked the edges, but you will be able to clean it up later and join it back up, and it won't be much different. Well, it will be different, but it will still be quite acceptable to put back together. Okay, so let me just show you. So what you need to do is start from an edge and work your way down, because if we painted the glue all the way here, it'll probably reset by the time we got to it. Okay, so let's just apply from here. Okay, so if I apply across the top here and apply along the bottom. Now, at this time, it's already starting to attack the surface, and if I squeeze like this, you can already see that's opening up. Okay, and as you can see there, that's already separated. Okay, so I need to keep that separate as I start moving down, otherwise it's just going to reset, and we'll start moving down the fuselage. Okay, so if you can't get to both sides, then I guess you've got no choice but to only do it from the one end. But it will work better if you can get it to both sides. As you can see there, as I squeezed it, and that's just slowly opening up. Okay, you see that? It's just cracked open. Now obviously you can do it on small parts too. Bear in mind that if there's a locating pin that was molded into the plastic, they'll probably get damaged. Which means when you glue it back together, you'll probably, oh, there you go, that's all come apart. Okay, so that's simply after I've removed the bulk of it, and then the rest of it's just come apart from shear force. Okay, so let me just show you what the joint is going to look like with this zoom. Okay, let's see if I can get that focus a bit better. Okay, so you can see that edge there. So that's where the the glue's already attacked the plastic, but you notice that it hasn't really done too much damage. Okay, it just looks a bit furry. Okay, if we look over this side, that's already a bit furry. But you'll notice that this is one of these old pieces that I've used for other tutorials, and that was a painted section, and you'll notice how the glue has attacked the paint. And whenever you've got painted sections like this and you apply the glue, it's never going to be as strong. So that was lucky that I applied a little bit of glue and just snapped open. But usually if I was doing this permanently, I would have scraped off all that paint and it would have given the same result as here. But even so, you can see how applying glue has still allowed me to pull it apart. Then over these sections, these just came apart very easily too, because there's not much surface area there, and it was also painted. And then down the bottom here as well. Okay, so you've got to look quite a lot of leverage, and that's all come up very, very cleanly. Okay, so that's apart now. And just say we've fixed it, and we need to put these back together. We can try test joining the parts and seeing how they feel. Okay, there's a good chance that once you do this, the gaps are probably going to be slightly bigger. Now looking at this one, this has actually come across quite cleanly, so I'll be happy to just glue that back. If it's really furry, then you'll probably just get a knife like this, or sandpaper, give it a quick scrape down before you glue it back together. That's pretty much it. Okay, so that's my method on how to take apart bits that you've glued with liquid adhesive. So as you can see, liquid adhesive is a really strong welding cement, but using it again to soften the join, you can quite easily pull it apart with a little bit of damage, but it's not a huge amount, and you'll be able to clean that up and then glue it back together. So that's it. Never fear of doing anything wrong, because everything can be fixed. So give that a go. It's not always going to be this simple, but that's the basic theory behind taking apart glued parts. So thank you for watching.